Man, I'm so passionate about it because it's like I've done this shit for 3 years in my bedroom and I've made it work. And it's like, if I can be an example to people, like, you don't need anything except just a little bit of time, resources, and money to create something. Like, cut the bullshit excuses, cut whatever you are making up in your mind, and actually just create the thing, do the thing you actually want to do. Like, this shit is possible.
Welcome back to the podcast. Welcome to the second visual Kyle Beats podcast of all time. We're still working out the kinks and whatever else you want to call it. Today on the podcast, I have a very special guest. He has his own podcast. He's also from Massachusetts, the Boston area. He's out in LA right now. Welcome to the podcast, Bob A.
Let's go. I didn't know when to punch in, bro. You kept talking, making me feel good, and I was like, yo, do I jump in now, or do I just let them keep rocking and rolling?
Yeah, well, it's a new thing for me, right? Because usually I'll just get right into the podcast, but now it's like the video version. You kind of have to do a little prerequisite intro.
I like that
because there's no intro before.
There's no intro in the actual in the visual part.
Yeah, but dude, I wanted to get you on my podcast today for a few different reasons. One, I feel like you're one of the most inspirational people.
You think I am?
Dude, I watch your Instagram videos, like I listen to your podcasts, and I feel like your positive attitude is just something that every person on earth should have. And I just want to have you on here just because you haven't, quote unquote, made it yet. You're still in grind mode, as is everyone, but like you're still out here. You're driving Uber, which is also something that I used to do. You're doing this podcast, and it's just like that. There's so many people that listen to my podcast. I'd say about 99% of the people that listen to my podcast and watch all my shit that are out here trying to get it. And I feel like the positive attitude that you have is something that every single person should have.
Yeah.
So that's a big reason why I wanted to get you on here, man.
Yeah, man. Before I even give you my 2 cents on that, I just want to make sure so I don't screw this up. Am I supposed to be visually recording anything right now or no?
Yeah.
Okay. We're recording. Right. We got the GoPro in front of me. You fucking, let's hit it, baby.
All right. Where were we?
Little technical difficulties on my end. I will take full responsibility of why there was no visuals for the first 20 seconds of this podcast.
What the hell was I saying? How do you say positive?
You were making me sound so good.
Well, I think that everyone could just learn from that just positive outlook on everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then that's the thing is that honestly, I owe a lot of that credit is probably because of where I was raised, the family I was raised by. Dude, there's so many things that have led me to where I am today that I don't, it's so hard for me to actually pinpoint one specific moment or certain thing to why I just, to me, it's just positivity is the only option. Like, I'm not going to sit here and complain about why I'm not making a living doing what I want. That's not getting me anywhere. And so I've just realized that, like, I just need to make the best of the situation I'm in. I kid you not, yesterday I was driving Uber. It was the beginning of my day, and I drove by this woman, and it looked as if she was homeless. I couldn't really tell. I hate to say that, but it's LA is just, there's so much homeless population. And she had 2 kids with her walking, and they looked younger. And in that moment, I told myself, literally for the rest of the day, I cannot complain about one single thing, because there's 2 kids right there that I have no idea the environment that they're being raised in, but I know that what it looks like is a much different environment from what I was raised in, where I had a roof over my head. My parents were very supportive. My parents did anything and everything to make sure their kids were happy. And so I think just realizing that perspective, it has allowed me to just see the positivity in everything. Like, just it's just a flip of a switch. That's the way I look at it. It's like you can either look at something as a setback, or you could complain that you're not where you want to be in your life, but you could also look at all the positive things that are happening in your life and use that as fuel to keep going and keep doing that thing.
Yeah, it's hard, man, because like something that I always say is because when I was trying to figure all this stuff out, I moved to Florida. I was living with a couple of my buddies. I moved to Florida just because I was like, what the fuck am I doing here? I was driving Uber at the time, which is funny.
Yeah. What part of Florida was this again?
So I moved to Orlando, where
okay.
my buddy was, and then I moved in with two dudes, and rent was like $375 a month, just like the cheapest thing. That's just Florida, so you could find something like that, just like the cheapest thing ever. But like it was literally like a step up. Like it was like beautiful weather the whole year, and it was just like, it's hard to stay in a positive mindset when you're trying to turn your kind of like your passion into something where you could make a living off of it. Like something I always say is just like, it doesn't matter, because I was like, I had a lot of fucking shitty days where I'm just in my fucking Toyota Corolla, which I still drive, just in between Ubering, just like, dude, I fucking hate this. And you're just every single day you're just like fucking depressed. And it's like what I always say is like, it doesn't matter if you're pissed, as long as you just keep going. If you're running up a hill and you're pissed that you're running up the hill, as long as you keep going, you're gonna get to the top. So you're just going to be like, why was I fucking so pissed?
No. And I think going off of the whole weather thing of like, right, you're living in Florida, it's warm out, you feel great. How do I still maintain that positivity? I think the biggest one big realization I've realized is, you know, being somebody that had always dreamed of living in Los Angeles, had always dreamed of living in California, now living in the city he had always dreamed of, the beautiful weather and everything, that's not the key to happiness, right? Like I think moving here and being here it'll be 2 years next month, I've realized like there isn't a certain thing or moment that's going to just provide me the most happiness, because I thought moving from Boston to Los Angeles, I'm never not going to be happy. And it's like you go through the honeymoon phase, you're so happy to be here, and then it becomes the norm and you're right back into the grind. So I think realizing like there is no such thing as like a happiness destination. You kind of have to find the happiness in the process, going back to what I was just saying, like positivity and in the moments that you're having the setbacks. You have to find happiness along this whole ride, because it's not like, even if tomorrow I started making a living doing what I want full time, 6 months from then, after that, I'm going to be back to square one if I'm not continuously trying to find happiness along the journey of whatever I'm trying to create.
Yeah. So tell me about that decision. You were in, what part of Massachusetts are you from again?
Chicopee, Mass, near Springfield, Mass. So about an hour and a half. If you literally get on the 90 West, go all the way down to Chicopee. I'm right next to Springfield, Mass. So it was like an hour and 20 from Boston.
Dope. And like, what made you want to, for those who don't know, you made a decision to go out to LA to start a podcast and to try, like, take me through that whole process. Like what was that like?
So, you know, I grew up in Western Mass, and I went to college in Boston. I went to Bentley University.
You went to Bentley?
Business school. Yeah, I went to Bentley, man. Yeah, I went to Bentley. I went to Bentley thinking that I wanted to go into the corporate environment, so I figured go to a top business school. It's going to be a great segue into a good corporate job. And then graduating, realizing that was not what I wanted to do. I was starting to get this idea of starting a podcast focused on passionate people.
What made you realize that you didn't want to do the corporate stuff?
That's a good question. See, this is the thing. I've told the story so many times that I'm always trying to find ways of like, I have to always remember that there's people out there that have no idea who I am in my story. So it's like I need to tell the
every
details
single one of my followers,
because they're important. Yeah, no, truly. And so that's a great question. I really skimmed over that as if it was not a big deal. But so I go into Bentley. I have an internship my junior year working for a small startup company of about 50 employees. It was a great company. It was a marketing agency, or they sold a marketing software. Mm-hmm. But it was in that small environment that I realized, holy shit, this is horrible. This is not meant for me. Yeah. And now you could argue that maybe working for that company or that product or that service was the reason I didn't enjoy it. But I was still at a small scale seeing like people show up at the same time of day. At 11 a.m. everyone's going to the coffee area to like make their coffee, and then 1 p.m. we're all it's just the same cycle, and I was like, no way am I doing this shit. So after that internship, that's when I realized, okay, this is a good moment that I'm realizing this now, but I'm about to graduate in a year from now, and what I thought I wanted to do was not what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. So I go into senior year just like blazing hot. I told myself I'm not going to stress about a job. I'm not going to stress about trying to figure out what that next step is. I'm just going to live it up my senior year and I'll figure it all out. And so my senior year, I went full throttle. I had a great time. I was partying my ass off. I was doing a lot of good things and having fun with my homies. But in the back of my mind, being at a top business school, everyone's talking about what they're doing next, the jobs that they're locking in. And I was just like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'll figure it out.
It's all horseshit, though.
Yeah, it's yeah. I know. At the end of the day, man, people just got to do what they're passionate about. And I knew going to the corporate environment was not my passion. And so I just had a bunch of friends around me doing super passionate things. That was kind of inspiring me. I was starting to listen to a podcast called The School of Greatness with Lewis Howes. That was super inspiring to me. And kind of going into that last couple months of school, I started brewing with the idea of starting a podcast. Originally, I was thinking about starting a podcast that was like men's health related, or like a men's podcast, like talking, actually more of like just like health, fitness, clothing, like women. And I just knew that wasn't like a passion of mine. I knew I was going to get bored of it. So I kept sitting on the idea of starting a podcast. And then, like I said, I was seeing people around me doing super inspiring things that I was like, okay, why not create a podcast that's focused on people that are in the process, that are doing these things? And so I graduated May of 2016. I have this podcast idea. I moved back home. I tried finding work back in Western Mass. Couldn't find anything. Through that summer of 2016, I started slowly recording a couple episodes. Started really feeling like this was going to be a podcast focused on unfolding the stories of passionate people. I really had the vision. I knew what I wanted to create. And so I just started interviewing, artists, fashion designers, photographers, like kids that were around me that were doing super passionate things, and they were in that process. And then I moved back to Boston in August. That's when I started driving Uber full-time. Actually, it was mid-July. Started driving Uber full-time out there. And launched the podcast August 31st of 2016, and then from there I just hit the ground running, and it'll be 3 years next month. Yeah, it's been a quick 3, man. It's been a quick 3.
That's crazy. I feel like I had a similar, like we have such a similar, not like story, but like a similar kind of route when it comes to certain things. When it comes to like work stuff, like I left Lowell. I went to UMass Lowell.
Yep.
And then I left there, and I was playing soccer there. Everyone knows this fucking story. I was playing soccer there, so like my whole attention was on that. I wasn't thinking about anything. I was always super creative. I knew I didn't want to, like, I wasn't going there for school. I was going there because like that was the next thing soccer players did. And then like when it was all over, it was like, oh shit, like now what the hell do I do? And then I started like this mini like website with this is when websites were still a thing. We had a website that was popular among college students. We brought it to some kid who knew stuff about websites and apps and stuff like that. We were trying to make an app for it. That's when like everyone was starting to get iPhones. They're getting more mainstream. And then we ended up randomly getting a fucking investment for like $100,000 and went on this tour. And then went on this tour for the app and spent like a year doing this app, and just basically just ran out. Everything you hear Gary Vee talk about with people that just lose money every month, that's essentially what we went into. We didn't want to do that, but like we just went into it thinking like, wow, let's fucking get it. Like we hired on a CEO. It was a big realization that like nobody has it figured out. These multi-millionaire fucking investors, what the fuck, they don't even know shit. You know what I mean? It was just like a big realization. And then right before actually doing that app, I worked at I did an internship at Boston Scientific, which is like,
I know Boston Scientific.
Yeah, I figured you would, because when I was there, they were like, first of all, I barely got through fucking school. My GPA was like a 1.9. Like I was the worst.
You're too busy on the soccer field, man.
Yeah, it took me like 6 years just to fucking graduate, because like I wasn't taking it. I swear to God, I was taking like 2 classes a semester, and then I would just take some online class over the summer to play soccer. Like I just hated school, and even when I was at the internship, people were like, I don't know how you got this internship. Like usually it's only Bentley and BC, BU people that get it. And I was like, all right, like I don't fucking, I hate this place.
Yeah,
like it was.
You gotta learn. You gotta learn somehow.
Yeah, I was so fucking depressed, dude, just sitting in a cubicle all day, and I was just looking at everyone like, oh my god, like this is not it. I was like, this is not it. I'm constantly thinking that like someday everyone here. There's a line in a song that I'm putting out soon. It says like, in 100 years nothing really matters here, and like it's just like at the end of the day everyone's gonna die, and like fucking that's it. Like it's gonna be all over. Like you might as well do what everyone just gets caught up in certain things like that, and the end of year things, and are very concerned about what other people think, et cetera, et cetera. Anyways, so through that app I met Cam. You know Cam. I met Cam Meekins.
You met him.
I met him through the app because we were gonna partner with him to like help us get the college fan base or whatever.
Wow. Okay.
Anyways, long story short, me and Cam just started hanging out from time to time. The app fizzled out. I had nothing going for me. I knew I wasn't going to get a job. So I started Ubering actually because you can lease a car through Uber.
Yeah.
And basically I was like, all right, I'll just start Ubering to lease this car, and I'll just Uber enough every week to pay for the car.
Yeah.
And then it was like a horrible lease deal because like, you know what I mean? You could get rid of the car anytime you want type of thing, which is what I wanted. I didn't want a long-term commitment. So it was like a crazy amount of money a week, but I was like, oh, I'll just Uber every Saturday or Sunday. Anyways, then I bought a car and started Ubering full time, moved to Florida, and was just Ubering. So it's funny like how that turned into, and the best day of my life. And I've listened to a few of your podcasts, and I feel like you feel the same way. The best day of my life was when I came home from a Mike Stud tour, and on the tour is when I started making money selling beats. And the best day of my life was when like I was like, dude, I'm making enough money to pay rent right now. And I paid rent, and I was like, all right, let's add it up. How much money do I need to make every week? Because I wasn't Ubering enough to even pay my rent because I was like, I hated it. And so I was like, all right, I need to make $336 a week to pay for my rent, to pay for my I didn't even calculate in food. I was just to pay for my rent and to pay for like my car and like whatever else, like Sally Mae or some shit. And
it's smart to break it down like that though. Know that that's how much you had to make a week.
I had to, dude.
To be able to pay it. Yeah, I mean, dude, I've literally for 3 years like full time off Uber. No, I really haven't figured out the right avenue of monetizing through everything that I've been doing, and that's something I've been trying to really figure out. Just because it allowed me to create even more content. But yeah, I wouldn't be where I'm at today if it wasn't for Uber giving me that flexibility and that time to make money on my own time, which is huge.
What do you think your plan is? You know what I mean? Like, what do you think your plan is for what you want to do other than creating content? Like, the business.
I would love. I mean, if it's not for me, I think what I would love to do is try to get like 3 to 5 clients of brands or other people that are interested in creating their own podcasts and their own content, and help them strategize and try to, take that and bring everything that I've learned in the last 3 years of creating and bring it to them. So I think, if we're talking monetizing wise or whatever, I think that would be the next best step, is trying to find 3 to 5 clients that would fit great. I'm not trying to go down an avenue of, a full, I thought that maybe that would be a potential down the future, is like creating some production company that helps brands and creating content and all that jazz. But that's not what I'm passionate about. I want to get to a point where I'm fully living off of the things that I create, just like you are, Kyle Beats. Like that's your goal, is to keep creating and keep making a living doing whatever Kyle Beats is associated with. That's where I want to go. But I'm realizing that along the way, I want to help brands or people that I actually rock with, and hopefully monetize with, bringing what I've learned in the last couple of years and try to strategize and help them take their brands to the next level. Yeah.
Did you ever want to create something that's just like surrounded by your personal brand? Like a product, or there's so many different things you can do now, and people are getting more creative with it. I'm trying to think outside the box.
Yeah. I think in the long play, if I really built like the whole bearded man thing, and maybe like create my own beard oil, I think that'd be so epic. like a beard pick type thing.
Yeah.
I know that I'm not anywhere near there's no point in me spending any time, money, or resources trying to even like think about that, because there's
the time
nothing
will come
to
where you can think about it.
So I don't know. I just know that the content that I enjoy creating and my own personal brand are going to be two separate things as it continues. They go very much together, but Bob the Bearded Man is separate from Purpose in the Youth podcast and Unfolding Stories of Passionate People. Like, there's two different brands right there, but they all very much intersect and
they're very connected though.
They're very connected. So I don't know. I enjoy everything I'm creating right now. I enjoy everything I'm doing right now. So it's just kind of a game of just continuously doing this stuff and seeing where it takes me.
Yeah. See, the beauty of what you have is you've been doing it for 3 years now. So it's like, it's almost like what's the word? I can never think of words. It's almost like the Russ theory type of thing, where it's like Russ was putting out songs for 10 years.
Oh, yeah.
So when someone, or like the Netflix theory is like when someone finds it, there's 3 seasons out. You know what I mean? There's already 3 years of episodes. How many episodes, like number wise?
This past week so we have 138 138 episodes, which is like me and a guest. I've done 3 group episodes, which is 3 guests plus me. I've done probably over 30 to 40 solo podcasts of me just talking on a subject. So the podcast itself has probably close to 180 pieces of content.
Yeah. So like it just gives you the ability for someone to become a fucking Psycho fan the second they
100%. They can dive because they can
you
binge
have so much shit.
Yeah, they can binge. There's so much content that has been
and
built
dude,
up
I
along
swear
the
to
way.
God, like that, like all the fucking clips and like how open you are about the Uber and the fucking and like all the clips and all that shit just about your current fucking life and how you film your house, like that is a fucking gold mine. Like if you continue like being if you continue with the work and the attitude and you just keep fucking striving, like it's eventually gonna come. Like it has to. As long as you keep like reevaluating what you're doing, and like because some people it doesn't work because I've been trying this for 10 years, but you fucking haven't been adapting to what's changing. You know what I mean? Like as long as you keep adapting and keep the same attitude, like success is going to come. And then the best part about it is like no one can tell you shit, because you can literally just be like, all right, well, here's a fucking clip of me driving Uber. Look, here's my fucking house. Like I can barely fucking get this, and like filming on a GoPro or whatever your fucking like, you know what I mean, lowest moments are that you have like to show it. Like that shit is a fucking gold mine. Like I have like 3 videos that I filmed in Florida when I didn't have money, and like I was so embarrassed to even film shit in Florida. I had like a couple $100 left. Like literally I was about to just fucking be homeless. Like you know what I mean? Like I was literally there, and I wish I was more honest about it and filmed more shit, even though I do have some stuff.
I pulled that right out of Gary Vee. I pulled that
it's a
straight out of Gary Vee. It was just something I caught on that he was talking about so early on when I was getting into creating, was like, don't create, document. And I didn't really fully understand what he meant by that, but I really started paying attention to it. And then I just realized, like, once again, kind of going back to where where we started with the conversation of like positivity is my only option. And so I just try to be super positive. It was like speaking my truth and being my authentic self was something that I've always naturally definitely been confident with, like being who I am and not being scared to share it. But then when stepping into this world of creating and documenting and actually putting out there to the world, something that I wasn't doing 3 years ago, I just realized like that is going to be my strength. It's just being my authentic self. I just talked about it recently in a podcast I had posted. It's like my greatest strength is my authenticity. Like you can't call me out on bluff, because everything that I'm putting out is so fucking true. That's why I have a homie that comes through and shoots like behind the scenes of these guests coming into my bedroom, the bed Rudio, because it's showing people how real this shit is. Like I'm literally recording this at my desk that, you know, is shot for all the podcasts, and yet not even 3 feet to my right, I see my bed that I sleep in. And, you know, also too, when you were talking about the job where you guys were like you guys were raising a bunch of money and all that. And one thing that was popping in my head is like, so many times we think that we need to have money in order to succeed or to do something. And I think that's the biggest problem right now with like startups is like, I've talked to a lot of founders on the podcast and it's like, we're venture backed and like, we just had our B round of fucking raising money. It's like, okay, sick. But like that is such an achievement in itself for people, but that doesn't mean anything. That just means you owe people money. Yeah. You owe people money. Like that's not cool. And so I think it's, I'm so passionate about it because it's like, I've done this shit for 3 years in my bedroom and I've made it work. And it's like, if I can be an example to people, like you don't need anything except just a little bit of time, resources, and money to create something. Like cut the bullshit excuses, cut whatever you are making up in your mind and actually just create the thing, do the thing you actually want to do. Like this shit is possible. You just have to be, it comes down to how bad do you want it, man.
Yeah. It's like what brings you past that point of quitting? I feel like everyone has they start something or they try something or they're on and off with something, and then some people it's 30 seconds, some people it's fucking 2 days, some people it's 2 weeks, some people it's a year. Like what gets you past that point? I think that's something I'm really good at, is no matter how fucking difficult something gets, I'm gonna be back again the next day. You know what I mean? It's just that's I fucking, people always say, because of all the stuff I'm doing with my mom and like time that I don't have, like I don't hang out with fucking anyone. Me and you are, this is why I want to do a podcast with you. Like, fucking Sunday, I'm sure you're fucking Ubering this weekend. Sunday, fucking 11 a.m. Like, let's get it. Let's do a podcast. You know what I mean? People are like, that's the fucking, like, what do you think that is that keeps you coming back? You know what I mean?
Because my thing is that a couple things. One, I think it's extremely important that whenever you're starting something, right? Like you have to stay consistent with it, but it's okay to like not enjoy something or to realize like you're not passionate about the thing you wanted to do. So it's okay to toss in the towel. Doesn't mean you failed. It just means like it wasn't the right thing. There's a difference between tossing the towel because you actually don't enjoy it, and there's another thing to toss in the towel because you're not seeing the results that you want to see. Two completely separate things. So it's like, if you're not enjoying it and you want to try something else, that's great. At least you tried it. For me, it's always been like, dude, from day one, I don't know what it is, but I just felt and I knew that like this was my lane. I've always been a people's person. I like talking. I've always wanted to have my own platform to share with the world. I've always wanted to have a voice. So like I knew from the beginning like this was a great lane for me to go down. And from the beginning, I felt like my back has been against the wall, and literally the only direction I can go is forward. So I just haven't, there have been those days where I don't want a podcast, or I'm not seeing the results that I want to see, or just I'm not feeling motivated, or like I've had enough of those days than I can even count. But I just continuously told myself, you only can continue to move forward. I've punted a lot of relationships, birthday parties, all that other bullshit. Like I stopped doing that stuff for the last 3 years. Like I went 3 years ago. I was that kid in college that was first one at the bar, last one to leave, partying my ass off on the weekends, going to every event I was ever invited to now it's like I say no to almost everything, because if it's not helping me move forward towards what I'm trying to create, I don't have the time for it. Like I don't have time. I'm at the point now where
nobody invites me to anything because they know I'm not going.
Which is, it's respect. You know what you want to do. You have things you have to focus on. And yeah, so I don't know. I feel very fortunate that I realize like I know what I want. I know what it's going to take to get there. I just have to just do this shit. And so I just keep showing up, man. Like I live by this whole thing of like, it's like a punching bag. You have to keep hitting that bag every single day. And that's, bro, 3 years, like every day, like
that's
today,
crazy.
Yesterday, all last week.
How long have you been in LA for?
It'll be 2 years next month.
Yeah. And why did you choose LA as the spot?
Crazy. I got super lucky in the sense of like, this has been the city that I've always wanted to live in. Since I was in 5th grade, I was telling my parents, I'm moving to LA. I'm moving to LA. And there were 2 other times in my life I thought I was going to move out here. First being, I thought maybe college was a great way to get out here. that didn't happen. And then I thought when I was graduating college, like, oh, I don't have a clue what I'm doing now. I don't have a job. Maybe I should just go to LA and just like start a new life or like do something out there. But luckily I thought about like, okay, well, if I'm starting a podcast, why am I going to move to a city where I know nobody? It's going to be extremely difficult to get off the ground. Let me stay in Boston for 1 year where I have a network of people. I'll give myself 1 full year and I'll move to LA. I'll either move to LA with the podcast and a year under my belt, or I'm going to move to LA, leave the podcast behind and try to figure something out. But I knew I was going to LA. I had always wanted to live out here. I loved the lifestyle, the warm weather. I loved everything that the movies made it seem like it was. And I got super fortunate because the city that I had always dreamed of living in also happened to be one of the best cities in the world to be a creator. And this is where the network is, and a lot of the big opportunities I've had in the last 2 years are all because I'm now based in LA. So I just got lucky because it was the city I had always literally wanted to live in, and then it also was one of the best cities to live in for what I was trying to do. So serendipity or I don't know what, but I got super lucky with that.
There's a lot of like producers that can kind of relate to that as well, because that's a big obviously place for music. There's a lot of producers and artists that probably want to make that move.
And tell me if I'm wrong, but I feel like for a producer wise, obviously it would be ideal to be in a city like this, but I feel like you can still get a lot of shit done based on anywhere in the world, because you're creating a final product and you're sending it to somebody, whereas I realize I need physical people. I need people
that's
to
the
come
thing,
in.
right? Is like I usually tell people like one of my big advice when it comes to something like that. I actually don't say this a lot because I don't know why, but like you hear people say this, it's just like it's a lot better when you have something going on going to LA rather than
100%
going to LA and becoming a Starbucks barista and just kind of getting stuck in that lifestyle of like, I mean, you fucking seen it, like the people that they're going out on the weekends rocking fucking fake chains and shit, and then they're working at fucking Starbucks. You know what I mean? It's just like, and it's probably really fun, but like you're not accomplishing anything, and slowly just go down the fucking LA hole and just forget about fucking life.
Bro, it catches up to people. Like eventually the party's gonna end. You're gonna have to fucking find a way to make all this work. You know what I'm saying? Like you can try to create once again that lifestyle.
Well, dude, that's a good thing about you going to fucking college for 4 years. Like I feel the same way because that's what I did in fucking college. I went to UMass Lowell. It was a fucking shit show. Like everyone just like all the fucking athletes just fucking partied every single, like the athletes were like frat houses, and it was just everyone was just fucking partying the whole time, and I didn't do anything like that in high school. So I feel like I just kind of got all that out of my system almost, and just not even out of my system, but you just know that you just know what it is, and like, all right, that's always gonna fucking be there. You know what I mean? No matter what. And I personally, I hate when things fucking end. And like when the weekends used to be over in college, and in college it didn't matter.
Sunday
but
scares.
Like, so like in college it didn't really matter because like everyone was still around. You know what I mean? It was still like you're laughing about it on Monday, like, oh, class, like, you fucking, oh my god, this sucks. Like it's just like kind of like the whole thing was a big joke, and then you go to soccer practice and then like talk about the weekend and shit, and like I don't know, it was just like you were just hanging out. But like once I got out of college, and then like a year out of college, and then like there's kind of like a spillover where you're kind of still going out. I was going out to Boston now, like from Braintree, and like taking the T in to Boston. Yep. And then you come back from that and you're like, dude, what the fuck? I remember I went to Florida and I was Ubering, and Orlando was amazing. Like perfect. It was 80 degrees in the middle of December. We're on rooftop fucking parties. Like everything is like half of as expensive. You know what I mean? It was just amazing. Yeah. And me and my roommate got back one day, and we woke up the next morning and we were like, dude, what the fuck are we doing? Like why are we going out to these places and just going around with people, because we didn't know anyone there. So we were just going around with our 3 roommates, just drunk as fuck, just staring at fucking people. Like, what is this? You know what I mean? Yeah. What the fuck are we doing? Like, we're not doing anything. Like, it was just like a big waste of time.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing, man. I don't regret anything that I did in those college years. Like, I'm glad I did what I did. I just had somebody come through the other day who was doing some like BTS work for me, and he's about to go into his senior year, and I was just like, yo, bro, honestly, just have fun, don't stress, like go do dumb shit, like make bad decisions. Like, this is the time to learn. So it's like, I don't look back at any of those years as bad years. I kind of chuckle because it was just so much like, not wasted time, but it was just going with the flow and enjoying life. But now I'm just so much more I optimize every single hour of the day that I laugh at like how much time I essentially quote unquote wasted. But I'm glad I went through those 4 years of just partying.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, right? That's the thing of having it figured out, quote, like early. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the thing about someone that's 18 that gets on and they have whatever fucking category we're talking about, like whether it's a fucking artist or whatever, like that's the danger, is like you've never been through that. So like, dude, like at fucking 18, bro, I couldn't even have a conversation with someone when I was like 17. Like I was just playing fucking video games all day and just playing soccer.
Respect.
You know what I mean? Like that's all I was fucking doing. And then I went to college and just fucking, it was just like, oh shit. And then you just fucked around for 4 years. Like that's the danger of that shit, is almost like you have your college years in LA and it's kind of weird because I don't know, it's different.
Yeah, it is.
And I tell everyone college is a waste of time. Now I'm backing it.
Yeah.
It's a nice bubble for social fucking experiences that almost like don't even matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's almost like your time is on frozen for fucking 4 years.
Yeah, it's 4 years of just do whatever you want, make some bad decisions, and there's no repercussions really at all. You just have to get to class on Monday and do your homework.
What type of stuff? Because I feel like a lot of like people have creative blocks. Like what type of stuff do you like to do for like that creative block, or like that type of burnout you get as a creator? Like what's your process?
Yeah. I've really just figured out like a system I'm like a productivity hacker, I guess you could say. Yeah. I've really figured out a system to my life that helps me just creatively get into the flow, and I just get things done. So one huge thing is that I prime my day, like I prime my morning. So my morning routine is literally what sets me up for the day, and it can be lengthy and it can be timely. And some days I just want to wake up and start creating, but holding off and like waking up at 6 a.m., going to the gym, coming back, going to the gym, then using the sauna in the gym, meditating at the gym, coming back, going for a run, reading outside for 30 minutes, having a protein shake, showering. I've already been up for 3 hours before I even sit down to start working. I haven't checked social media. I haven't done anything. I haven't responded to emails, texts. So by the time I actually sit down to work, I've been up for 3 hours. My mind is clear. I'm ready to get to work. And so usually just like 1 to 2 tasks a day creatively of like, what do I need to do? Okay, I need to research for this podcast and I need to send a couple emails. Okay, I'll do that. Then I'll do some more the next day. And then, getting on the Uber grind by the afternoons, early afternoons to drive through the night. So it's just like, I think disciplining myself and only giving myself a 3 to 4 hour window to create every day allows me to go, okay, I only have 3 hours. I need to get this shit done. And if I don't get it done, I have to do it tomorrow. But tomorrow I need to do X, Y, and Z. So I think the problem with, and it's a great problem to have creatively, is you have no boss, really. You don't have anybody telling you this needs to be done by then. It's really, you are your boss. And so if we don't discipline ourselves and we figure out like when to do the things, then it takes us a lot longer. It's just, we spend too much time just like sitting around and overthinking it. It's crazy, man. Like I'm realizing like there's this like weird balance of like just create. Don't overthink it. Don't try to perfect it too much. Just create something that's good enough that is going to do the job, and it's going to get you to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing. Because no matter what happens, what you create or what I create today It's not going to be perfect. And 3 months from now, we're going to look back and we're going to laugh and go, damn, what I should have added this color filter. I should have not said this. I should have said that. So I'm really starting to love this idea of like,
you're speaking
if
my
I
language.
if I shoot, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I shoot something, I have to use it. There's literally dude, I'm like my biggest critic, and I'm sure you are, and any creative is. It's like, I will shoot something and I'm like, that doesn't sound right, or that like it's not going to be good. And I'll just force myself to edit it and put it out there. And then I get all this feedback of people that are like, yo, this was dope, or I really enjoyed this. And I'm like, okay, it's not about what I think. It's just I need to create the thing and put it out there. I just need to create and put it out there. And obviously, like I said, there is a balance of like, it has to have some substance to it. But more times than not, we overthink it and we are our biggest critic. And we don't realize that actually the process of just putting out content is a win in itself, because most people are scared to do that, regardless of plays, regardless of what the feedback might be. If you have an idea for something you want to create, the best thing you do is you just do it, you run with it, you see how the feedback is. And I think that's helped me, is just like, I've figured out a rhythm through trial and error. You can go through my YouTube videos. I've done numerous different YouTube series. I've tried all these different things to then finally kind of get into a lane of like, I know consistently when to put out, what I want to create. And so everyone has their own way to break the creative hacks.
I almost fucking scrapped an entire music video that I filmed for myself the other day.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, I've been in like a weird creative block where it's like not even a creative block, where it's just like I want to a space where I'm just like, I need to evolve right now. Like, I've been doing these. I'm not gonna stop like making videos. Like, I think a lot of music people are like, oh, I'm sick of YouTube. I'm not gonna stop making videos. Like, that's my bread and butter. Like, I've been making videos my whole life and editing since I was like 12. But it's just like evolving the whole fucking channel and brand. And like, am I gonna do music? What's good with the clothing line? I have a music video. It's just like all this stuff on top of like my mom and stuff. And it's just like, I can't. I'm very limited when it comes to like making videos. I can't go anywhere. I can't move to LA. Like, what I want to do is like, and this is my decision. Like, my mom is fucking, I wouldn't be here without my mom. Like, she literally did everything for me. Like, I would just leave fucking plates in the living room. And you know what I mean? Like I was kind of fucking shitty. Like, not shitty. I was a great fucking child, but like, I developed a lot of habits as I got older that have benefited my life. But like, what I want to do is like go to LA and like outside of LA, like an hour outside of LA or something, and just get a fucking house and just create my own content crib. And just have buddy. Like people that are in the videos and shit like that, and in the vlogs, and just fucking keep growing the fucking channel. You know what I mean? You have to keep evolving. It's like what a lot of YouTubers talk about is like the shit that they do to like do bigger and better every time. And you don't necessarily need to, I don't need to get a fucking house, but like, it's just me and my videos every single day. I don't know. You just get to a fucking block, but
yeah, honestly, man, I would challenge you, if there's anything I want you to take away from this conversation, is like, you've already clearly showed that you can create whatever it is that you vision for Kyle Beats. So now it's just continuously, like I had said before, it's just making use of what you've got. You know what I mean? Like, one day you're going to have the house in LA. One day you're going to have the house wherever you want. But it's just like, what can you do with the environment you're in right now, and how can you keep that moving you towards that bigger goal? But there's no doubt that at some point you will have that. Just as much as you know, you had a vision for what you wanted to create with Kyle Beats.
What do you think? Because you've had some crazy fucking guests on your podcast. The ones that I know of, or I mean, you've had a lot of CEOs, but like the people that I know of that I've listened to the whole podcast were, you had Drum on there. From Short Story Long. You had Charlie, CEO Charlie
Rocket, baby.
Charlie Rocket now, actually.
Yeah.
Who the fuck else? What were your other bigger guests?
I mean, I've been very fortunate. It just depends on like what area you're. I mean, shit, man. From Rory Kramer, amazing, talented videographer who worked with Bieber, to the CEO and co-founder of Movement, which is just got acquired for $100 million about a year ago. to some just incredibly talented people, man.
What do you think what's your process for like writing a good email and contacting these people and like actually getting them on your podcast?
Yeah, so I if I'm sending an email, it's the exact same template, except I personalize like the reason I'm reaching out to them. So it's always like, hi, for instance, well, drama is a little bit different, but and generally speaking, I'll just say like, if I was reaching out to you, Kyle, I'd say, hey, hi, Kyle. In the next line, I would say, my name is Bobby Hobert. I host Purpose in the Youth podcast focused on unfolding stories of passionate people. In the past, we've had artists, DJs, producers, entrepreneurs, vloggers, and much more. The reason I'm reaching out to you today, Kyle, is I really respect what you do on YouTube. I really like your content. I've been following you for the last 3 to 5 years, and I just think what you're doing is absolutely incredible. Next line, I would then say, I'd love to have you as a guest on the show, and then I would attach like an example. I would say, check out this podcast with, maybe like Jesse Korn, who I had recently. He's a music manager. So knowing that you are a music guy, I would cater and craft the email specifically to music related. So I'd look back on a recent podcast and I would find somebody that you might know and put that as an example for you to check out. And then I would just say, if this is something of interest, please let me know. I'd love to have you on the show. So I think what's helping me now is it's not even about plays. It's just about the consistency. Like, oh, this guy's been doing this for 3 years on a weekly basis. Like, this isn't his first rodeo. And I think, I've definitely gotten into a pocket of people where it's mutual friends or friends of friends, or like they are friends with somebody I've already had on the show. So it's pretty easy to get them to give the green light because they see the credibility of somebody they already know. It's like a weird thing. It's like if they see friends of theirs or people that they admire being part of something, they want to be part of it because otherwise they feel like they're missing out. And also being fortunate that like podcasting is me reaching out to somebody saying, hey, let's talk about you for an hour. I want to talk to you about you and your journey, and who the hell doesn't like talking about themselves?
Exactly. Especially people that don't have a voice necessarily.
Exactly. That's the thing. Some of the biggest podcasts I've had have been with these filmmakers who are absolutely crushing the film game, but have never had a platform to tell their story or to speak and talk.
Oh, you had
so I was able
Gibson
to get into that
too,
pocket.
right?
Yeah, Gibson Hazard. He was one of the first big names that really kind of set the wave for me.
He wasn't even fucking big at the time either.
Yeah, I had him. I recorded the first podcast with him in January of 2017.
I was on Gibson's first tour ever.
Oh, that's dope.
Dude, when I was like showing him, because he was always just doing photos. I met him when he was doing pictures. Like I met him fucking
out in Boston
4 years ago now or something like that. Mm-hmm. 4 almost 5 years ago. And now the kid we're talking about, for everyone listening, watching, he's doing crazy shit. Just look up Gibson Hazard.
Yeah.
He's doing shit for like Drake. Like literally he just did a thing with Nike, like just the craziest shit. And
he's
like
savage.
Yeah, when I was with him, I remember Cam needed videos, right? And I was like the video guy, but I was DJing for Cam. And I was literally, this is his first tour ever. I was showing him I was like, no, you got to do this. Like showing him how to fucking take, like he knew obviously, but I was like showing him shit about videos. But his craft comes in the editing. I think he just used it because like even with the photos, like he wasn't just editing the photos like a normal fucking photographer. Like he was masking different shit and like doing different things to like kind of make the photo pop out a little bit and just trying different shit that you wouldn't see a normal photographer doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy.
He's an absolute savage, man. He's an absolute savage.
He's killed the past couple.
Yeah, so I got lucky with people like him because they would Google his name and want to learn more about Gibson, and my podcast would be the third clickable link, and so they would be able to get to hear more about him. So I I got lucky with just the pocket of people. Once you get 2 or 3 credible guests, you're off to the races. Now you just have to keep staying consistent and keep reaching out to more and more people. That it's just been a great pocket of creatives to tap into.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. Yeah, I listened to
high quality.
I listened to the Charlie. I was on a Charlie fucking Charlie Rocket binge for a while.
Yeah.
After what was the first? Oh, first one I heard him on was Dramas actually. Dramas.
You know what's
podcast.
crazy about that? You know what's crazy about this? I'm gonna sum it up in 60 seconds. So this was a big moment for me. So I'm putting together this idea of starting this podcast, Purpose in the Youth, 2016 in May. about third week of May, Drama launched a short story long. I'm like, holy shit. This is like the concept, because he obviously in the first episode was like, hey guys, I'm creating this podcast. This is what it's focused on. I was like, that's literally what I want to create. So now I'm being inspired by him to actually do the thing. I see him all summer long, stay consistent, 12 weeks. So that by the end of August, I launch mine. And so from afar, he was like, I looked at him as like a mentor, right? Like I saw him staying consistent. So I was like, if he's staying consistent, I need to stay consistent, right? So then fast forward, I moved to LA. I get him on the podcast. It's this big deal for me because he was somebody that, one, I watched growing up on MTV. Two, more importantly, he was somebody that was like a mental coach for me from afar. And then I get Charlie Rocket on the podcast. We record the podcast. I'm only like 1 or 2 weeks out, and I'll drop it. For whatever reason with Charlie's, I was like, I had 3 or 4 in the vault, which felt great. So I was like, yo, Charlie, this is going to come out in like a month. Like, I'll keep you posted. So, I sent him the press kit 2 days beforehand. He says, all right, sounds good, man. Can't wait. Literally the day my podcast, now I drop podcasts every Wednesday. That's my day for dropping, and so is Dramas. Yeah. I didn't do that on purpose. I didn't do it on purpose. It just happened to be the end of August it fell on a Wednesday, and that's how I ended up on Wednesdays. My podcast drops with Charlie Rocket. What podcast does Drama drop on that same day? Charlie Rocket. And bro, I can't even begin to tell you what that feeling meant, because I was about 6 months before that moment, I was getting into the same caliber of guests as Drama. Like guests that had been on Drama show 8 months to a year prior, I was now getting on my show, and I was like, holy shit, this is crazy. To see my podcast with Charlie Rocket drop the same day as Drama was like, I couldn't even put into words, bro, because it was like I'm now in the circuit. I'm not a top podcaster. I'm not like the go-to guy that people are coming to LA and they're going to podcast with, but I'm now in the circuit of podcasters. Like if you have somebody who is so credible as Drama, who has an incredible network, and he's dropping a podcast with this guy, and it could have been with anybody, but it was the fact that we were dropping the same person on the show at the same day. Like, bro, it was more than 60 seconds, but it was crazy. It was crazy, bro.
That's crazy. Yeah, Drama's actually the first, I don't know why, but he was the first podcast that I listened to. I remember Cam was listening to podcasts, like randomly. He would just be listening to these weird, like random podcasts.
Yeah.
How It's Made or whatever the fucking podcast
How I Built
is.
This. NPR?
Yeah, or something like that. Yeah.
Yep.
And I was like, whatever. I wasn't really into it. And then I don't know how I heard about Drama. They're probably like Instagram. I think I follow on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just started listening to it. And you know what's funny is I was listening to his podcast, listening to the first few episodes of Drama's podcast while I was fucking driving Uber around Orlando, Florida.
There you go.
While I was fucking driving Uber, broke as fuck, like depressed, trying to fucking sell these beats.
Preaching. That's what I do all day. I listen to podcasts all day long, man.
Yeah.
Just burn through them. Burn through them when I'm driving the streets. Streets of LA, baby.
What's your how do you space out all that Uber shit? Because I was like, I was just trying to hit for what's the word when it's like a lot of people are looking for Ubers?
Oh, surge.
Surges, dude.
Yeah. Nah,
I was fucking whenever there was this.
You were chasing that.
Yeah, dude. I was.
Yeah, that's like a drug, dude. It's like an itch. You'll be sitting on your couch. You look at the surge, like, oh shit, I gotta go.
The second you get there, the surge goes away, dude.
Nah,
I swear to God, every time.
I've realized. I figured it out through trial and error that I'm just gonna work the hours that work best for my life, and it's kind of the whole idea of like, Kyle, you want to make a living doing what you want to do, and you're not. You want to obviously make a lot of money doing that thing, but you are not inspired to do music because of the money. And that's the same thing with me. It's like I realized I'm not going to treat this job and chase the money. I'm here to just fund the project that I really am passionate about. And so I just figured out, going back earlier to like the whole disciplining, like I figured out the best hours for me to drive are in the afternoons through the nights, because I love the mornings to myself. I love creating in the middle of the day, and I want to finish the day off driving around. So Monday and Tuesdays I don't drive, but then usually Wednesday through Sunday are the days that I drive. Excuse me. So it took trial and error, and but yeah, I got into a rhythm of like figuring out when works, when doesn't. and just working a lot of Friday, Saturday nights, Sundays here and there, and just kind of staying consistent with it. But it definitely took me some time because I had done the early mornings and I had done the late nights, and then I figured, okay, early afternoons through nighttime are the best hours for me to drive.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, slaying.
That's crazy, dude.
Slaying
I cannot
them
wait for the
streets.
fucking day that your fucking podcast
You
is generating that
and
income,
me
dude.
both, bro. You and me both,
it hits
man.
home, dude, with the podcast or with the Uber, because like that was literally the
Yeah, you relate to
exact
it.
route. Yeah, that was the exact
Yeah.
route I took. I was just like running out of fucking money, and I was like, I have to fucking start selling these beats.
Yeah.
Like I don't have in Boston. I had people that I could do photo shoots with and charge $100 here, and then like I could do music videos and charge like $500. So I had like other ways to make money.
Yeah.
And I didn't have rent either, so I didn't have. And then my student loans started kicking in too, so I was like, "Fuck!"
Preaching,
like
bro.
I literally have to fucking make money on the internet. And it was, and I saw this dude Taz Taylor is his name. He was the first guest on this video podcast, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's this producer, right? And he's selling beats on the internet. And I noticed he had like a vlog channel, so I started watching his vlog videos in Florida. And here he is showing his fucking PayPal statements as they're coming in, and he literally showed it was like 3 quarters into the year, so whatever the fuck that is. It was like 3/4 of the way through the year, and this dude made like $300,000 selling beats. And I'm like,
wow.
Dude, are you? Because I've been making beats on and off for 3 years at this point. So
Yeah.
I was like, dude, are you fucking kidding me? Like, this is,
Yeah.
because I was trying to do like, you know what I mean? I was just trying to edit videos for people, just do all sorts of shit. I was like, dude, I'm going all in on this, and I'm going to fucking Uber until fucking until I get it. And I went all in on that, and just fucking now 2 years later, this dude's like part of the biggest records in the world. Like he just produced a Lil Tecca, him and Nick Muir produced a Lil Tecca song that's out right now, the Ransom song.
Sheesh.
And they were the ones that found Juice WRLD and just doing crazy shit. And now he's like my homie, and I hit him up and fucking
got him on the podcast.
yeah, like now he's like fucking my homie. He asked me to fucking sign to his label and shit. You know what I mean? And like 3 years ago, I was fucking just like doing nothing. So it's just like that power of manifestation is crazy. You know what's crazy too is I've never told this story. I was in that fucking internship, depressed as fuck. This is 2014, right after college. I was doing the summer internship, and this is like I just finished soccer. Like I was nobody. I wasn't making music. I just started making music like that year. I wasn't taking anything serious. Like music was just for fun. I like to do it on the side, like whatever. And I seen all these videos of Mike Stud on tour, right? Just all these Mike Stud tour videos, whatever. And I was just, for some reason, I was just watching those, and like it like changed. I was like, dude, that's what really made me really depressed. I'm like, dude, I need to live my life. I can't do this. That was like what really made me flip the switch. Was when I saw him out here going to a different place. It just looks so fucking crazy. This is when the touring's boring thing was big.
I know. I was just gonna say his lifestyle was anybody would compare.
Yeah, that next fucking summer, I was on tour with Huey Mack, who was in those videos. Wow. And I was like, dude, this is crazy. The fucking another year later, I'm on tour with fucking Mike Stud, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, like this is like so weird, like how this all happened. I didn't even know Cam at the time either. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't even like a process in my head, and it's just like all those little moments are just crazy to think about. Even though they're
all full circles. Full circles. It happens, man. You never know. That's why I never burn bridges with people, because you don't know how things could full circle. And also too, just like seeing those types of visions come to life. It's really incredible to go from seeing somebody you're watching on YouTube to then you're touring with them. It's like, damn, I could literally do anything in this world. Yeah.
And it didn't like, it was weird because it didn't like mean anything, because like I was just kind of there. You know what I mean? Like I still in the back of my head was like, this is crazy. Yeah. And like, but I'm like broke. You know what I mean? Like this isn't creating, this is creating experiences for me, which helped me out in the end. But like, this isn't.
It's not game changing. It's not like life changing.
Yeah. It's not building a brand or creating a revenue stream, or like, it's not it's just creating experiences for me.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's
Kept you
crazy
moving.
just how life
kept you
fucking
going.
works. Yeah.
Yeah, it's important, man. You gotta take you gotta pay attention to moments like that and use that as inspiration, even if it's not putting money in your pockets. It's just like, okay, if I can get here, I could get anywhere I want in this world.
What do you think is your like big fucking? I know it's hard to think of, but like, what's your big goal? What do you see yourself doing? Like, what do you see? What do you see in the future?
Yeah, I just see myself as maybe this will answer. I think I know where you're going. It's just like I've realized my lane is documenting, man. Like documenting the stories of passionate people.
Yeah.
The main focus, the main vehicle is Purpose in the Youth podcast. That's the main thing. I also started a series called What They Don't See, which is like a YouTube series of me going into creative spaces and seeing where people create. I've done the group podcast, like I was telling you. I think the main goal is to continuously document my journey so I can have proof of like where I started to where I get, and also along the way just creating content with super passionate people that I'm inspired by. I mean, at the end of the day, man, it's like everything that I'm creating is for my own personal interests. Like I like talking to entrepreneurs, I like talking to filmmakers, I like all these types of people. I want to go look at where this audio engineer works. I want to go look at where this creative works. I want to go check out this office. Like I'm using everything that I'm creating is for my own personal interest. And I've just realized that like it's documenting people. So I think just moving forward, it's just me continuously making this type of content, but at scale, always being somebody that's in control of his time, and just continuously working with people that are passionate with what they do. There's nothing more that inspires me than somebody who just wakes up every day and is passionate about that thing. There's always this. I'll give him top 10 sound bites of the entire podcast project. There's over fucking at this point 150 hours worth of content, and I'll give this guy top 10 easy without a doubt. But I had Rhetoric back in April of 2018. He's the DJ for Logic, and he said this line about I don't care if your passion is building cardboard boxes. If you can tell me everything about that piece of cardboard, where it's manufactured, why it's the best cardboard in the world, why this cardboard makes the best cardboard box, you are the type of person I want to be around because you're passionate about it. And I just realized that like there's nothing better than sitting down, talking to people, and being around people that are passionate about what they do. I don't think it's necessarily you have to be around all music producers, all podcasters, all videographers, just passionate people, man. So if I can keep going down that path and documenting stories and just connecting and building with people like that and providing them a place to have that voice, sign me up, because I still am creating for that same kid that graduated college, unsure of what he wants to do next. No clue where to go. I'm still feeding that kid, like, here is the platform that is providing you it's showing you proof that people are making a living doing what they love. So I think that's kind of the path I'm going to go, is just keep documenting and see where it takes me from there.
Amazing. Something that's crazy too is I remember on the Charlie Rocket one when you guys are talking about, I forget what the exact goal or list thing, because he's writing everything down. He's always writing shit down, and he wanted you to write down like your goal for the year.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now,
and you're
see it right in my eyes.
And you were like, you said if I can make, what was you said if I can make like 65,000, and he's like, put a one in front of that, man.
Yeah,
but it's so crazy, man, because it's like, it's so fucking. It seems fucking impossible until you have it. Like for me right now, making $1 million, it doesn't even seem impossible. It's just like, but it's just like when it seems impossible to do to make that amount of money, because when you like, I made 6 figures in 2018, which is last year. Good for you.
That's huge.
And man. I'm only saying it because I just put out a video on it, so the cat's out of the fucking bag.
Yeah.
And like that, if you divide it up into like days or weeks or months or whatever, it seems fucking impossible.
Yeah.
Like you're like, how the hell am I gonna get that means I have to sell this many things a day or get this many views for YouTube ads. But like over time, it's almost like the videos. It's like over time, you collect videos and you collect skills. It's the same with like streams of revenue. Over time, things just build up, and like you start getting opportunities and you start generating revenue. Say you have a bearded man brand, you have the fucking podcast views on YouTube collecting money, you have companies that want you to do branding for them, because I feel like your branding is really good with the names, and just like, I don't know, I feel like just the way you're able to implement, just like even me just watching your fucking Instagram stories and listening to a podcast every now and then, like the Purpose in the Youth, perfect name. The bearded man, it's just like fucking, you hear, you're just like always saying it, so it's drilling in your head. And the fucking what they don't see, it's just like great branding. So you could have all these different revenue streams. All of a sudden you're looking at the fucking numbers and you're like, oh shit, I'm about to hit that 165. You know what I mean? It's just like, I don't know. It's important for people listening too, because a lot of my fucking followers are aspiring producers trying to sell beats, or artists, or fucking internet people trying to do this. And it just seems so fucking impossible until you start building everything up, till you start slowly building the empire. And then you're like, wow, it didn't seem like I did that much. And here I am, fucking hitting these fucking things I thought were impossible.
That was the name of Charlie's podcast, was Believe Bigger. And although I can't financially say that I have been able to get anywhere near that number, or I can't even say that I've, been able to monetize everything that I'm doing, it's just the guests and the content itself that I've been able to create has been my proof that I could do all these things, because I knew what I wanted to create in the beginning. 3 years in on it, I've created exactly what I wanted, times X. I've been able to build out all these different other series that I never thought I was going to create. And so I really believe this whole idea of, like Charlie Rocket says, like, believe bigger. And I think you need to dream so impossible. You need to dream so big that it feels impossible to reach, because if you're setting goals that are easily attainable, you're not actually pushing yourself to your fullest potential. And that's why in the thing, I'm saying 65,000, and Charlie's like, put a 1 in front of it, because it's true. It's like, go bigger, like push yourself to the edge. Seek the discomfort. That
was a great moment in Purpose in the Youth podcast history right there.
there were some moments like that.
It was so really, genuine.
Very genuine, man. Very genuine. And you gotta dream big. I mean, it's inspiring for me, even from somebody who's not a producer. It's inspiring for me to hear you say that you made 6 figures in 2018, because it's like, I know you started at 0, and I know you made 6 figures last year. Great. I started at 0. I'm going to fucking make 6 figures doing everything that I want too. So it's just, I get inspired hearing other people's stories, even though it's completely different, now, because it's like anybody can do this shit. And that's just, you gotta see it. You gotta believe it. You gotta keep feeding your brain conversations like this, or any content that keeps you pushing. You gotta be willing to go to the end, or the edge of wherever that journey is, because it takes a long time. It takes a lot of patience, takes a lot of hard work, and it just really comes down to discipline and consistency. How bad do you want it? Is your back against the wall? Are you actually working as hard as you possibly can? And just surrounding yourself with the right people to keep that fuel inside you going. Like, this is what it's all about. We're honestly, in 5 years from now, we're going to listen back on this conversation and laugh when we're both making X amount of dollars, and you got your content mansion, I got my it's just... It's all possible, man. And
I just see it, bro. I just see it in certain people. Like, you can just fucking see when people... I just feel like you're going to fucking do something. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I wanted to have you on my fucking podcast. Just because I can just see it happening. Whatever it is, we don't really know yet. Yeah. But,
and I appreciate that, man, because it's like, it's like... There's so many people out in this world that would look at it from the outside looking and go, why is this YouTuber with 250,000 subscribers interviewing the guy with the 1,600? Like, that would be the stigma for a lot of people. They'd be like, why is he doing that? I don't understand. Like, but it means a lot that, and I've been seeing you show love to the podcast for a minute, or just my content in general, and that shit is not unappreciated, but it says a lot to even just say what you just said, because I really am trying to embrace this whole moment of, like, I have built something. I'm very proud of it. I'm humble. I'm only just getting started, but I also appreciate, like, I don't have thousands of DMs coming in. I don't have thousands of emails looking to collaborate. It's giving me time to build the ground structure, to have this team implemented. Like, if everything was to take off tomorrow, I don't have the perfect team just yet, but I have somebody that can consult me on management. I have like a bunch of videographers that I know are good, that are willing to help. I have a couple editors. I know, but what I'm trying to say is that it gives me time, not blowing up, having that overnight success gives me time to have all these things in place so that when it does come, I'm not scrambling trying to find the right people.
Yeah.
So it's
more importantly, like the skills to fucking handle it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that was something that was really important for me when it came to, what the fuck was it? Just like, I don't know, just like the fucking whole video, the whole YouTube channel blowing up, really just like, not even blowing up, but like the whole YouTube journey that I've been on the past 2 years. I went from 0 to 250,000 the past 2 years. Like that whole thing blowing up. If I wasn't editing videos since I was 12, or if I wasn't making beats for fucking 5 years or 6 years before that, I wouldn't have been ready for it. You know what I mean? It's just like I wouldn't have been able to handle all that shit. And not to mention, on top of that, like I was doing everything. I was doing everything for everyone. I was designing people's websites, logos. Like I'm proficient in fucking I cut my own hair. Like I literally do fucking everything. I know everything about cameras, everything. Maybe not everything. I'm not like the best in the world at fucking everything, but like I know how to do a lot of fucking things at a pretty decent level. To where I can pick up any camera, I can pick up any this, I can make a beat on any DAW, I can make videos on any fucking editing thing, and like whatever. But you're just ready for that growth. Yeah,
you gotta spend the time to get to learn all this shit, man. And I'm just trying to embrace all these moments of allowing me more time to grow, so that when the time comes and I'm ready to blow up or whatever, I'm ready for it. You know.
So do you think it's hard when like the people that because we're both from Massachusetts, I feel like a lot of people just don't understand what the fuck you're even doing. And I know you're out in LA, but like I'm fucking here. And do you think it's hard, like when your fucking college buddies or your family or whoever back in fucking Massachusetts or whatever, it's just kind of like doesn't understand what the fuck you're even doing?
Yeah, I don't judge them for it, and I don't waste too much time trying to over-explain myself. They get it or they don't, and if they don't rock with it or really fully understand, I let my results speak for themselves. So it's like, whatever it might be, I mean, that's the thing, man. Like I said, Bentley, like top business school, 99% of my graduating class went into corporate America. I was the 1% that didn't. So, you know, I really lost touch with a lot of kids I went to college with, and it's not because I think I'm better than them. It's not because they think they're better than me. It's like we are going down two completely separate different paths. Yep. That's just like how the world works. Like you get out of college and you're now an adult. You have to figure shit out. And so time is money. Money is time. Like I'm not going to just call somebody to check. I mean, I wish I was better at this, but it's like I've disciplined myself so much that I have things to do. Like after this podcast, I have a numerous list of things to do that by the time I have time to just sit down and relax, like I'm not thinking about following up and catching up with people. So it's like, it's, I think in the beginning it was hard, especially when I was just starting off, to try to explain to people like what I was creating. But then now it's just like, you can either look into my work and figure it out, or if you don't understand, then if you don't still see why I'm doing it or like care to ask, like that kind of always interests me. Like when I'm catching up with people and I haven't talked to them in months, but they won't even really ask like, oh, how's the podcast going? It's like, okay, so there's a disconnect there. Either you don't give a shit, which is fine, but like the fact that you don't even have the respect to like even just ask. Like I don't expect anybody to be listening to every single podcast.
That's the beauty about when the good things do start rolling in, is you got all these fucking clips and everything's all documented. Yeah. So it will be difficult for you to get a text like, oh damn, you're so lucky you get to fucking sit in fucking Malibu and interview fucking Ed Milet or whatever the fuck you're doing. You know what I mean? Whatever the fuck you're doing at the time, that's sick. And driving your fucking sick ass car to that house. You know what I mean? Or whatever the fuck you're doing.
I'll be getting driven. I'll be in the back of the black Uber.
Exactly. Yeah, like when you get to that point where it's like, it's obvious that you're fucking killing it. It's even if someone does text you like, oh man, you're so lucky or whatever, like you'll be able to be like, send them a fucking Instagram story that you saved from
everything's documented, man.
From fucking 6 years before that. Like, dude, I was literally out here fucking broke driving Uber.
It's all
That's the beauty
long
of
play.
it.
It's just knowing that having all this documentation is just showing people the process of it.
But yeah, it's important. I feel like a lot of questions I get too are just like people that are like, I'm not sure if I should go to college for this or pursue music or just like or whatever. And it's just a lot of the times it's people around them that are influencing them to think a certain way. And that's another thing I was really good at. Seems like you're good at too. It's just like at the end of the day, you don't give a fuck, and just like you're just gonna do what you're gonna do what you want to do, not because you're fucking ignorant towards it, but just because you just have to. Like there's something in you that just has to do these things. And I don't know what that is, but
you got to put the blinders on and just go all in on whatever you want to do. That's all it comes down to. And in the beginning, it's tough because you're going to spend a lot of time and energy trying to explain to people like, I want to do this, I want to do that. And when you just, at some point you realize I'm not going to waste any time and energy. I'm just going to do the thing I want to do, and I'll let all of my actions speak for myself. And if people want to support, great. If not, it's not a problem. Like, just, that's how the world goes, man, you know?
Exactly. But hey, this has been a fucking hell of a podcast.
Hell yeah, brother.
Everyone go listen to Purpose in the Youth. It'll be in the description. Go listen, go watch video and audio. And yeah, bro, where else can people go follow you if they want to follow you?
Where can they follow the Bearded Man? It's just at Bob-A on all social media. That's B-O, 3 B's, 4 A's, and a Y. Super aggressive, I know. I wanted just B-O-B-B-A-Y, but that was already taken in, so it went to
what's funny
B-O.
is in my phone, I actually have it as as like a bunch of Y's instead of a bunch of A's.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people do. It's because of Instagram. That's how I got the 3 B's, 4 A's, and then I just transferred it everywhere. But at Bob-A on all social media, at Purpose in the Youth on all social media podcast platforms and whatever. So they can follow me there. But definitely want to give you a shout out for setting this up and making this happen. And I really respect what you do, and know that the love and support all the way from Boston, Mass is really appreciated, Kyle.
Let's get it, bro. We
Let's
out
get them
here.
wins, baby. We're gonna have you on this podcast soon enough. So just know for the folks that are listening,
dude,
that
once I'm fucking out there,
here.
we'll do it.
We'll make it happen. We'll be cooking up some heat.
Let's get it.